Welcome to the Dr. Leadership Show, where we take a look at how you approach your work and personal life and how we can make the most out of both of them. A weekly get-together where we get real about self-improvement and development as we all make this not-so-easy journey through life. Our discussions will cover ideas and concepts from how to grow your career to how to lead your family towards prosperity and happiness. We don't pretend to know it all, and the doctor is the first to be vulnerable, discussing his own weaknesses, both past and present. This is about growing together and having some fun while we discuss what is happening in the crazy world we live in and how to make the most of it. Let's strive for awesome together. Let's get after it. Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of the Dr. Leadership Podcast. Hope you're having an awesome day. Happy Wednesday morning or whatever day of the week you're listening to. Hope you had an awesome weekend. And hey, big news in the U.S. We have a new president coming in January, a second round for Donald J. Trump. Whether it makes you happy or sad, the country moves on, and it was amazing how the people spoke. So hopefully that didn't disrupt you too much. You may have listened to a little bit about that last week when we had Allie Stark on, who is founder of Allie Stark Wellness and also Noria, a wellness and consulting company. And her interview was around kind of well-being and mental health and all that. And there's a lot of people that really needed that episode after last week. There's a lot of people whose corks have popped with the election Tuesday night and full governmental control by the Republican side. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here. So a lot of people were proven wrong, and what a comeback story. So no matter love him or hate him, the guy can't be beat. It's amazing. But talking about mental health wellness is what we'd kind of focused on the last couple weeks. Like I said, we had Allie on last week. Next week, I'm actually recording an episode with a gentleman by the name of Doug Finkelstein. And he has a company, and the company's name, excuse me, I'm going to swear, Slow the Fuck Down. Slow the F Down is what I'll say now. And he chose the name very intently to kind of gravitate people's thoughts to it. And he has a group that allows you to virtually get involved in mental health well-being, be it through yoga, through meditation, through other means. He's coming on, going to talk about that and all the great things that come out of your mental health wellness with a concentration on your own well-being. And those are very, very important attributes to have in this great world. And it's especially helpful for me as well, because we're going to, the next week, get back into our focus on tenacity, etc. But the reason it's important to me now is I lost a dear friend last night. I'm going to talk more about that in a minute. And listening to Allie and having talked with Doug Finkelstein this week in preparation, and Ed Wallace 2 weeks ago, just being driven and focused on building relationships, etc. It all came to roost with some bad news this morning. A dear friend that passed away. I'll get to that in just a minute. But then we're going to get back into kind of driving results, things around tenacity, personal drive, because I've got another great guest coming on. I've got Doug next week. The following week, I'm going to be launching up a conversation with Ruben Gonzalez. Now, Ruben is a 4-time Olympian in the luge, and he joins the show to discuss his past and his ongoing journey to become the oldest Olympian ever. He has competed in 4 Olympics over 4 different decades. He's 60, I think he's 62 or 63 now, trying to make another run. He represents Argentina, where he was born. He lives in the United States as a professional speaker. Looking very, very forward to that, too. Listen about the Olympic trials and the Olympic events, and also on the luge. You know, it's something where you lay on with 2 blades and you go 80, 90 miles an hour on your back down the hill. A lot of broken bones in the story. So looking forward to getting back to the tenacity and the drive and the personal accomplishments and accountability and all that. But as I said, this health and well-being and concentrating on yourself and being focused to your future outcomes is really important this week. I got a text this morning and this week touching on this very personal aspect. I lost, like I said, a dear friend this morning. He lost a 2-year battle with cancer. Phil, I miss you deeply, buddy. Love you. And this loss reminded me of a couple very important truths. And this episode is actually called Your clock is ticking. Mind your time. And it's a couple of lessons here that I want to touch on as we continue to move forward here. I'm not going to be a gloomy self today, but it is hard when you know someone at 59 years old that just passed away with a battle of cancer. And he fought it gallantly, and he did all the right things to take care of his family, and I want to touch on those. But I said there's a couple of truths that we need to focus to in our lives. And truth number one, we all are here for a specific period of time, and we can't completely control it, right? They always say, hey, I could get hit by a bus tomorrow. You literally can be hit by a bus tomorrow. You can literally be walking down the sidewalk and something fall off a construction site and take you out. Almost happened to me in Charlotte 15 years ago. I had a window fall from 27 stories up being installed on the Duke Energy building. At that time, it was the new Wells Fargo building, and then Wachovia building. Then 2008 hit. Wachovia went under, Wells Fargo bottom, and they sold the building rights, the naming rights to Duke Energy. But a window fell out of the sky like 25, 30 floors up, and I was crossing the street and about 50 feet up in front of me in the sidewalk. Boom, this window hit and exploded. The exploding glass went through the sides of cars, everything. No one was killed, but my point is this. You don't know when your time's your time. And we got to act appropriately on that to make sure that we are prepared, our family is prepared, and you kind of plan for the worst and hope for the best in life. But that's truth number one. Truth number two, no one can prepare for life while you are here and after you are gone except you. There's nobody accountable for positioning ourselves to take care of our families and take care of ourselves and to chase our own dreams. Your clock is ticking, so we need to mind our time. And again, not to be doom and gloom here today, that's not what the message is about. What the message is about is we better get after it. We better concentrate on the things that are long-term important, not short-term gratification in life, because it hit Phil at 59 years old. I have a family member that's early 70s, fighting Alzheimer's and sliding fast. I'm going to be 57 years old in January. 59 is certainly not very far away, and 72 is nothing but a blink of the eye in the grand scheme of things. So let's talk a little bit deeper about these truths. Let's talk about truth number one here for a minute. We all have a certain number of days, so we need to make the most out of them. I'm yelling from the rafters now, and that doesn't mean, enjoy the dessert. I want you to enjoy the dessert, but if you enjoy so much dessert that you cause heart disease and you're 150 pounds overweight and you die at 50, that wasn't really using your days wisely either. Procrastination is the killer of dreams and outcomes. I have talked about procrastination before, remember? I used to tease my kids with it. I'm a procrastinator, and tomorrow I'll tell you why. See, it's a little joke. I'm procrastinating on even telling you. I'm going to tell you tomorrow. Well, procrastination kills dreams and outcomes. You can't make think of it this way. You can't make any journey in life without taking steps. We all need to learn how to enjoy the ride, have the dessert, right? But we have to continuously make good decisions so your life can bring you freedoms to do what you dream of. But also, this acting every day with conviction towards your outcomes and goals in life, it helps you position yourself and your loved ones for the hardships in life that are going to happen. I'm not talking about early death necessarily there, but you lose a job. The economy goes in the tank. Right now, families are struggling to get food on the table. Right now, we've got almost $2 trillion in personal debt, and 70% of the population doesn't have a $500 nest egg put away. That is a big problem. Now, some of these people are check to check. I understand that. But they've got to take however small a step, get rid of expenses and spends and things that they could get rid of to try to get that build up to 500. Then you try to get it to 600. It's about baby steps. I understand that people face challenges that I have not necessarily maybe had to face. I've been broke. I had times in my career when I didn't bring a check home. I was a 100% commission salesperson in my early 20s. I can remember that 2-week period, no check. My wife looked at me and goes, hey, we got to go get some groceries. I go, hey, we got to wait till Sunday, man. What do you mean Sunday? Well, I can write a check Sunday. I get paid on Wednesday. It won't clear until Wednesday, and we'll be able to buy groceries. That was a very humbling conversation for me. And it never happened again because I started to concentrate on just sneaking dollars away. My dad, now he would be 98 years old right now. He passed away 13 years ago. He opened up his first savings account with $2. Now, that'd be like opening it up with $50 today. I don't know the exact math on the cost of how much money it has risen to, what the economic impacts have been on $2. But let's say it's $50. The point is, small steps help you get to the journey as well. Hardships are going to happen. You got to be prepared for them. Victimhood will gain you no favor in the outcomes of life. To sit and pout about how things are tough is not going to fix that things are tough. If you are sitting there and you don't have enough money or you're fighting debt or whatever might be the case, you got to look at two ways. One way, how can I bring more money in? And two, the most important, how do I stop spending? Just look at our federal government, $34 trillion in debt. People just brush over that all the time. How come you're not buying out my college degree? How come you're not paying down this expense? How come you're not giving me free money? How come we don't have an entitled income? All these things. People just don't understand. There's no money. The federal government, it'd be like you looking down and you got a -2, you're overdrafted on 5 checks, you're -250 in the bank, and you go out and say, I'm going to go buy a Lamborghini. That's what our federal government is doing every single day. I'm interested to see how hard we can shake the tree the next 4 years. I really am interested in that. The only ones that are scared of this are the ones that are getting all the money. They don't like this being disrupted. But if you go into life as a victim versus a victor, your outcomes are going to be very, very disappointing. A victor, self-accountable mindset is what we must have. See, only you can put into motion the plans that ensure a financially and healthy future. To treat your body as well as you can may bring you some more time. It may. Again, the bus hitting you. You should have had the pumpkin pie for dessert. I get it. But play the long game in your life is what I'm saying here. Phil did. I'm going to touch on that in a minute. The man I lost played the long game and left his family in a good spot. I'm going to touch on it more. So you can treat your body well and maybe get some more time, but by making good decisions financially, you ensure that your family is taken care of as well, your loved ones as well. Do you want to leave a legacy? My wife and I are very close to hanging things up, right, and going off into the sunset here. We're on a short clock here. The reason at 56 years old, I'll be 57 in January, that we're able to do this is because, and I'm not praising myself here, I'm just pointing out, we made some tough decisions 14 years ago that have led to a great outcome now. We really would have liked to have done that vacation or to gone out to dinner that extra time every week, but we made conscious decisions to concentrate on our future because time was on our side. That's why we all have a specific amount of time. You got to use all the days you got as effectively as you can. So my buddy Phil, he took this seriously. I remember talking with him 2 years ago. He had just been diagnosed. It was kidney cancer. He had a kidney removed, thought it was in pretty good shape. He had been fighting what he thought was a lower back and sciatica problem for quite some time. And about a year, 10 months maybe, after the kidney was removed, he was having some dry needling done for his lower back issue. They'd tried injections, they'd tried physical therapy, all this type of stuff. And suddenly he had a bump show up on the back of his head. And he thought it was just, a cyst or something. So he had the dry needler. Hey, can you poke at that thing? They poked at it, and that person said, hey, I think you ought to have your doctor. So he goes in for his regular doctor for a follow-up, and the doctor says, well, I'll just cut it out. Takes a little, scalpel out, removes it. Says, hey, we'll send it in. Just need to do the right thing, but it looks like just a cyst to me, too. Well, 10 days later, guess what? Same cancer cells that were in his kidney now showing up on his skull. Guess what? It's probably all throughout your body. He goes in, gets the big PET scan done. Guess what? It's not a sciatic problem. He's got a cancerous tumor growing on his femur. The femur's almost gone and has been deteriorating his leg for 18 months. You got to pay attention to your body. You got to pay attention to doing the right things today, because you can have the oh my God phone call from a doctor at any point. But I talked to Phil 2 years ago with his original diagnosis, and he immediately, what he went to, he focused on the well-being of others. That's leadership. That's being the strong in the family. He reached out about 8 days ago and said, they've stopped all my treatment. There's nothing else they can do for me except make me comfortable. And I sent back and said, hey man, I love you. And he goes, I appreciate that, mate. And he was stoic. He said, at least I've got my family set up. Man, it hits home, folks. He had been fiscally accountable, thinking it was for his future with his wonderful wife, his wonderful life, and then that life showed him a bad hand, dealt him a bad hand. Now his wife is now set up to be safe and taken care of because of their focus on the future and not just the day they are in. See, today many people are so focused about being perceived as successful that they screw up their future. We all have to take the steps every day. The younger you are, the better you are, because you have more time. You have to allow you and your loved ones that time to reach their dreams. What if Phil wouldn't have planned? Got a great wife, but what if he wouldn't have planned and wouldn't have been working hard and saving and pounding money away? Well, guess what? After burial, his wife would be looking for job applications. And many people do that just to get out and get reacclimated into the system, out into society, so they don't feel loneliness after a death, etc. But that's out of a choice, not a necessity. Don't keep up with the damn Joneses. I talk about this all the time. Keep up with your commitments to your future. Too many young people, I see this all the time. I see it in my own kids, love them to death, but they think they're Kardashian wealthy, check by check. They're out, they don't watch ball games at home, they watch ball games in the bar. They go out and they get a drink. They go out and they get something to eat. They go that fast food 4 times a week. They aren't going to the grocery store and cooking, and then they wonder why they're broke. I just can't make enough money. No, you make plenty of money. You're just really shitty with it. And I wasn't great until I had a first kid. And I don't want to say I was great, but as soon as I had that first kid, your whole mindset changes. Holy shit, I'm responsible for somebody else, and this person can't fend for themselves. I lost that FOMO, fear of missing out, and the Joneses issue very quickly. See, I could have looked back and been upset at myself. Doggone it, why didn't I start earlier? But see, the past, we can't change. We can attack things to make the future better. So you can't do anything about the past. You can plan appropriately for the future. But you also have to enjoy today, which is a gift. That's why they call it the present. You have to find the balance. The problem today for many is that it's all to one side. It's all into not missing out. It's all into being perceived. It's all into you only live once. YOLO, you only live once. Yeah, and you only can work so many days. So if you only want to live once until 70 years old, working the entire time, check to check, and you got a lot of great stories, that's up to you. But if you want to only work hard until you're 57, 58 years old, retire out, see the world, and leave something for those behind you, that takes a whole different mindset and approach. So you got to determine what you want to be. You only have so much time on this earth. The second truth we kind of touched on was only you can prepare. It's all up to us. There aren't any there aren't many trust fund people out there. Frankly, I'm glad I'm not one. All of the ones that I know are consumed with insecurities and are only focused on money. And what's really funny is they talk about how much money they have, and they didn't make it. That's the thing that just blows my mind. You need to watch me. You need to listen to me. I am on the right course because I am wealthy. Yeah, it's because great-grandfather, great-grandmother set you up. These third generation and fourth generation trust fund people end up killing the whole dream because they become lazy, lackadaisical, and don't concentrate on the right things. They put their kids on vacations all over the world too soon. So the kids don't have any dreams or desires that they got to go fight for themselves. They get accustomed to it. You become where you are entitled in your own mind to this lifestyle. You got to figure out how to put it away and act accordingly, and then give a bunch. Nothing feels better than giving to others. It's not what you have, it's what you give. But that second truth is, if you don't have a trust fund, it's only up to you to figure this out. So you got to get started today. Draw your map out in life. We all have to get after it every single day. Get after building a great relationship with loved ones and family. Get after it working at your trade or craft to be the best you can be at work. Don't expect someone else to bring it to you. You got to put in the practice time yourself. Get after it financially. I know people that make significant six-figure jobs and are not anywhere close to setting themselves up for a retirement or an exit strategy. They have a nice car, they have a nice house, they have nice meals out, they have nice vacations, and they're flipping miserable with stress since they can't see their exit ramp. Nothing like going out for a $200 dinner and then worrying about, I really shouldn't have spent the $200. First of all, none of us should be going out and doing $200 dinners. Very seldom. I know people that go to that place for their cocktails. If you want to have a drink after work, go to Bill's friggin' Bar and Grill, man, and get an $8 cocktail instead of a $14 cocktail that's watered down and smaller at the friggin' steakhouse bar. On any journey, you need to have a roadmap. You got to have that roadmap to find your way there, to where you want to go to. Why wouldn't you plan your life's trip with every focus on reaching your desired financial goals and outcomes? I'm not saying money's everything. It doesn't have to be a lot of money. If you only require $50,000 a year to live your dream life, house is paid for, very simple life, and you just want to sit and enjoy life, God bless you. But you got to have 20 times that in the bank. You got to have $1 million at retirement to enjoy 50 grand a year. If you have a $200,000 lifestyle, you got to have $4 million. You got to think big numbers here, folks. Groceries have gone up 30% in 36 months. What's in your bank account to handle that? See, only you can ensure your outcomes. Only you can protect your family, and only you can control how you get there. Do this part right, and you will have the best ride possible. It isn't easy. It isn't always pretty. But this journey is well worth it. Mind your time. Be awesome. Talk next week.